Welcome to DysFictional, an RPG-focused podcast. I'm Ginger, professional film industry victim.
I'm Tukey, former academic gone ranger.
And I'm still Randy, the random generator.
Wouldn't it be more random if you were something else?
I am always something else. They just don't get to see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sneaky.
Mysterious.
A little bit green today. I got this. I need to go to the doctor. That's the gist of it.
Oh boy. All right. Well, moving on from that. Sometimes people do like to pretend to be something else as a hobby.
Yeah.
I know I do.
Wait, I thought we were talking about 1D&D.
Oh, well, soon. Soon, I think.
It's not out yet.
While we wait for the changes to be final and the new player's handbook to release, I thought we could talk about cosplay.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
But you should.
It is a lot of fun.
As somebody who has worked the convention circuit, attended the convention circuit, run panels on the convention circuit, and attended conventions both in cosplay and out of cosplay, I would say it's probably one of my biggest hobbies. It takes up a lot of my free time and mental energy throughout the year. So I do have a lot I could say about it. Lately, though, as someone who's finally been playing D&D the last couple of years, the urge to cosplay all of my characters is strong. We haven't quite got there, but maybe this next time. What do you think, Randy?
I have less of an urge to ever cosplay in D&D stuff because when I cosplay, unlike you, because you are a fantastic costume designer person, but I like the play part of cosplay. So I just want some outfit that just looks really good, and then I just want to embody the character and have fun with it. And in a D&D, especially your own character, since I don't care about the costume looking super great and I just want to act like a character, they're going to be like, who's this idiot? Rather than just being like Natsu or Black Star or something and just having fun and everyone like, oh my God, I know you, you know?
Definitely. I think I am in it for the photos. I think I just want to make something that looks crazy and then get really, really good photos of it. And then I'm like ready to go change. Then I'm done.
I also really like the photos, but I'm there for someone to be like, oh my God, it's like he popped out of the anime or something like that.
That's true. We've met, I think we talked in our first episode about how we met, but we met at a convention and we started talking to each other because we had a mutual fandom. We were both cosplaying that weekend, and that was what sort of got us talking. And that was when we became friends. So
yeah,
it is a fun way to get out there and meet people. 9/10 of the time you meet them, you hang out for like sometimes multiple days, you hang out in lines together, you go to panels together, and then you still never get their real name or any of their contact info. And that's fine too. But sometimes you end up in a podcast.
I mean, one of my favorite things that I usually say with cosplaying is you kind of feel like a celebrity, especially if you're a famous character or you do it really well. And a lot of people go up to you, go, oh my God, it's, Superman or something. Can I get your picture? And all these fun and interesting things. So it's nice to have that, like you could see them again and be like, Superman, like you don't have to know their name because right now they're Superman. So it's easy to potentially find them again as long as they're not cosplaying multiple things throughout the day or even the weekend like some crazy people do.
I'm just realizing that when you mentioned about cosplaying your D&D characters, I probably shouldn't have made all my characters like way over 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
A very difficult cosplay. That was a mistake on my part, I suppose.
And then you have to apply all the cat fur to your body.
Look, only like half of them.
Yeah, Tukey, how do you feel about finding out just right this second that you might secretly be a furry?
Oh.
I mean, hey, everyone's got their thing.
It's just, as hobbies go, as far as costuming, that's like the most expensive one.
Yeah.
So
that wasn't a good place to start then, huh?
I mean, it's fine. Like we can make it happen.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You're gonna have to shell out some cash. Fursuits are not cheap.
Oh boy. I mean, as an outsider looking in, I know in the past I've seen pictures of cosplays. I've seen some YouTube videos of like cosplays for maybe the video game I was playing at the time or an anime I was watching. It popped up and I saw it, and I did always think it was just really cool to see what people can come up with, especially when people are making the costumes themselves. Like I know you do, Ginger. It's just really interesting to see how people interpret characters in all different ways based on probably their budget and or skills or what they have access to. So I always thought that was kind of cool from like as an outsider perspective, just what people can come up with and their crazy ideas.
Definitely. It's kind of funny because when I started cosplaying, when I started costuming, period, it was for the Ren Fair. I started learning how to sew so that I could do Ren Fair clothes because my friends I used to hang out with a lot in Florida, and we used to go to tons of Ren Fairs every year, like 7 or 8 different ones. And the clothes were really expensive, and I just wanted to sort of make my own things. And from there, it grew into cosplaying at larger conventions. My first general pop culture convention was MegaCon in Orlando, and I think 2008 or 9. And kind of snowballed from there. But as I decided to go into school for a degree in design and like actually learn construction and drafting and all of those things, and then move up and become part of the film industry, as I've been doing it as a professional, my cosplays have declined drastically in details. I think when you have a creative outlet as your hobby and then you actually make that outlet your job, it's great because you never feel like you're at work. But then when you're not at work, you don't want to do it anymore. So the last several years, my cosplays have been a lot more general. I think one of our more popular ones we've been doing is just like little sort of casual dress versions of the Heartless from Kingdom Hearts. And people, recognize them. But it's not like a full-blown, high production, high budget thing. It's just something comfortable we can wear that people think is cute, that people want pictures of, and stuff like that works just as well. So no matter what your skill level or your amount of free time or your budget, you can always come up with something, no matter how elaborate or how simple it is, someone will appreciate it.
Yeah, we used to go to Goodwill all the time and just pick up their Shizuo from Durarara or Spirit from Soul Eater that
totally
are just basically suits. So you just find a suit. And there's L from Death Note is a great example of literally just jeans and a white shirt, and he was very popular. Yeah, I get a little bit more with the eyeliner and or the hairstyles and stuff, and that creates the actual character rather than just dressing up as some guy. But then you could even be some guy and you're Hank from King of the Hill, and it'd be hilarious. I mean, one of my things, I'm excited to get old and be Professor Farnsworth from Futurama. Just, you kids, get out of there, just yelling at people. It's going to be great. And then eventually Mermaid Man.
I, too, have picked out already my little old lady cosplays for when I get old.
Right?
And Pinocchio is definitely one of them.
I haven't gotten into the sewing at all. I've done a little bit of armor, and I've done a few props, like I've made a sword and a few things from there. But that's pretty much my limitation of it. I'm completely cool being the person who buys an outfit online and then uses that. Because again, I just want to be the character. I'm not there for the competition where you win for putting 1 million beads on an outfit. That's not my thing. But props to those who are.
I've been putting millions of beads on outfits at work, and so I don't want to come home and do it some more because my hands are tired.
It's good that you guys are talking through some of these things, because honestly, there was probably like three main factors as to why I've never done it before. One was the costumes itself, just like trying to, I don't know, it always seemed a bit overwhelming, but as you guys are saying, you can go crazy into it, or maybe you pick something up, or maybe you go with like a very simple character to just, something easier to do, cheaper to do, depending on your budget. The other one was definitely for me a little bit of a blocker of willing to be in character in public. That I think at this point is probably gone after all the RP we've been doing in D&D. But that was definitely one other. And then the last one I think was just for me having a group to go do it, I think sometimes was a blocker for me. But I think part of the benefit, as I've been seeing now of these conventions and everything, is it's actually a lot of fun to just go and meet people as well. So it seems like the 3 blockers I had are probably not that much of blockers. So at this point now, I'm just trying to figure out who I'm going to cosplay as my first cosplay.
Yeah.
Hey,
We should run a poll.
you're right. Depending on what you're trying to get out of the cosplay, whether it's take a picture of people being noticed or just being in a character, it could be useful to have something like, let's say you're Hank from King of the Hill, which is very generic looking. You could add something to it that makes it like, you could even just have a sign that says King of the Hill or something. But you could also have the other supporting characters from it, and then you don't need the sign because people go by, they go, wait a minute. Is that basically the cast? And then you're noticed more. Group cosplays tend to get a lot of attention, especially if you all do it well and stuff like that too.
Yeah. So fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Every time I ever see a Bob's Burgers group, I always get so happy.
Yeah.
I always love Bob's Burgers groups. But you can also take it as simple as something like just khaki shorts and a t-shirt from one really popular one the last several years has been just big groups that are cosplaying the kids from Legends of the Hidden Temple. So it'll just be like a t-shirt with like the design of whatever team they're on, like the Silver Monkey or whatever, like printed on it. And they just run around with like their t-shirts and cargo pants and like a helmet. And everyone freaks out because it's like so nostalgic, but it's also super comfortable and not too hot. And it has pockets, you know, so there's a lot of ways to do very popular things if you do want a lot of attention that are still simple or could be thrifted. And then there's also a lot of ways to downplay sometimes if your costume is too eye-catching or like too popular of a character, you can't get anywhere. So I've actually had conventions, namely Dragon Con is my main convention I like to do every year for cosplay. Me and my cosplay partner that goes with me, Michelle, we've toned our stuff way down because we started having events that we want to be at. And the space is so big and the lines can get so long that you can't get in if you're not there on time. And we were getting stopped for photos so much that we kept missing things. And we're like, we got to tone it down. Like, we cannot wear anything. So we started wearing like really obscure stuff. And it's fun because not a lot of people will recognize the obscure stuff, but you can get around the con space in a normal amount of time. You don't get stopped every 5 seconds for photos. You can actually shop in the dealer room. And then like the 5 or 6 people that do recognize you are going to lose their minds. And it's like you're going to absolutely make their day. So it's still fun. It's just a different dose of fun. And it's a little easier to like navigate an area. So there's a lot of different strats you can have going into it. But yeah, I'm excited to take Tuki to his first convention. I think we can figure out a good thing for you to do.
Maybe I'll pick something very unknown, and I could just blend in with the.
I cosplayed Son Goku from Sayuki, and that ended up being very. I mean, I figured that was pretty obscure, but it was very obscure going to a convention, and you kind of gauge the obscurity by the attention you're getting with it. And I maybe had like 3 people that actually knew, but they're really excited because they don't get to see that. And then they'll even often be like, hey, did you see this other person from that same anime? Like, they're around, which then you're like, oh, that's cool. I kind of want to get a picture with them because it'd be cool to pseudo group cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've also seen, I don't know anything about it, but the 8-foot tall mech from like Warhammer 4000 or 45 million hundred or something like that. You don't even need to know it to be like, I need a picture of that. That is insane looking. And so even then, if your cosplays are crazy enough, instead of it being obscure, but you go the other route, I mean, if it's crazy enough, people won't even care what it is. It's just so cool looking that they need a picture.
Yeah, and you said this earlier, Randy. I definitely think, I mean, again, I know I haven't cosplayed yet, but I think for me, I definitely want to pick something that I can also really get into the character for if I'm going to do it. Because I think that will be a lot of the fun of it as well, is playing out the character.
Yeah. Even something simple like Black Star was one of my favorites because it's very I didn't need anyone else around, and I could be very outgoing. Like, I gave the voice actress of Blackstar my autograph, so that's something that he would do, and it was hilarious. But I was also like Toshiro from Bleach, and with Ginger being a Rangiku, which was great. And he's more of the serious type, doesn't really get a lot of play. But like, I can make a grumpy face, and then that's the picture. But that's being in character, and that's fun. Or you have someone like a Rangiku who starts poking your face a lot, and then it's kind of the fun where you have that person to play off with and can elevate your cosplay just by having this person actually kind of bug you for fun. And I met a Rangiku and Gin when I was Toshiro, and I'm still friends with them as well. So again, they live like 2 blocks from my house, and I didn't even know that.
Oh my God, you're cheating on me with another Rangiku?
I know.
How dare.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
To be fair, I think they were first.
Oh
my God.
This is before I had obtained Bankai,
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
I'll let it. I'll allow it. Yeah, it's definitely, for me, it depends on the character. Some characters I don't care at all about being in character. I just wanted to make the outfit. And a lot of that is because of I am a stitcher and a tailor for a living. Sometimes I just see something and I go, I want to figure out how to make that. And the making it is the challenge, the fun part for me. And then sometimes it is a character I really love and I do kind of get into it more. One of our favorite, more obscure ones that me and Michelle did was Legends of Dragoon. And I know that I have been on you for 10 years to get off your butt and join me.
I'm going to Blazing Dynamo all the way through that convention. One day, I promise.
One day we're going to have a Legends of Dragoon group that's more than just me and Michelle. And I, at this point, because I was nowhere near pro level making things then, and I am really excited actually to remake Rose and see if I can do it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you to make Dart as well.
To make Dart for you, yeah. See, the problem now is I have professional friends that I could call and be like, all right, I want to mold and cast legit dragon wing armor or whatever. And we could make it so sick, but it is going to be so expensive.
Yeah.
It was how much do you want to invest? But, I know the cellophane and wire method too. I got you. We can figure it out. But yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it one day. I think Tuki should be Lovitz.
yeah, I've heard of that game before. I play games.
You make a good Lovitz or an Albert.
Yeah.
I don't know who any of those people are.
It's fine. Shh. It's fine. Shh. Just let it happen.
They have a spear.
Neat.
Yes. Also, I've talked about Grounded multiple times on this podcast because I'm obsessed, but Grounded would be another really fun one to just have creatures, because you can also just cosplay whatever little kid you want with their graphic t-shirt and walk around. And you can make puppets, and I love making puppets. One of my favorite cosplays to wear is just a Gelfling from the Dark Crystal, because I have a Fizz gig that one of my friends helped me make. He's amazing. Everyone loves him. He's very popular at the convention, and the attention's not really on me. It's on the Fizz gig. But it's so much fun to that's a fun way to get into character, but still not be perceived directly, right? Is redirect the attention to a puppet.
Kind of like owning a dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I really want to do some Grounded puppets because you can do any bug you want. And Grounded is also great because it's kind of like Monster Hunter. Every bug that you kill has its own armor set. So the options are limitless. You have a huge group of people and nobody would have duplicates. And you can have a little pet aphid. It would be so cute. Do it with me. Do all the things with me. I drag people into my hobbies.
Yeah. That's kind of the problem with cosplays and stuff, because you always have another one you want to do, but you still have the other 15 that you want to do. And you'll never end up doing them all. It's the unfortunate with it.
I enjoy cars as a hobby, and I enjoy anime. Maybe I'll just cosplay as someone from Initial D.
Ha.
Or Speed Racer.
Yeah.
Or Speed Racer.
You both there.
There we go. Make a cardboard car.
Randy, do you have any non-D&D, non-cosplay hobbies? What is everybody's biggest hobby? do you think? Obviously, the campaign is a really big hobby for all of us. Takes up a lot of our time.
Yeah, definitely D&D and stuff. But I mean, you kind of mentioned earlier that reminded me a little bit of not having your hobby be your work. And I used to draw growing up, and I very rarely draw anymore. But it was one of those things that I would draw and then I would stop for a few months and stuff. And just imagining that as work, I knew that I would never want to draw again because I already get like the moods to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I got a few models to put together, similar like Gundams, and actually one of them was a Gundam, to put together because I used to do that as a kid. And I wanted to have a lot of figurines and stuff that kind of hits hobbies in different ways. Like I've got ones that are supposed to be of like animes and stuff that I've done. Specifically, I have a lot of ones that are cosplays that I've done. Like I've got one of Toshiro, one of Black Star and stuff. But I also wanted to have figurines that represented what I used to like to do. So I actually want to eventually get like a Lego set and build that up. And let's say Star Wars. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but something like that. I got a model set of Omnimon from Digimon, specifically like the movie. And
Aw.
because I wanted to get something Digimon related, but I thought a model would be really cool. And yeah, it was really neat to put that together.
Diggy, you said cars and anime. What else for you?
Okay, well, yeah, D&D, video games, cars.
I didn't know you liked D&D.
What? Well, I mean, we'll see how many times you keep killing me and then how long I keep liking it.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
I mentioned cars. I was always into that for a long time, I guess. I don't know. I even had this car game I was playing on my phone for years and years, and I finally stopped playing it because it was pointless. I wasn't doing anything. It was literally a waste of time. I acknowledge that, but it was
The problem
fun.
with all games, like you
Yeah,
love them,
yeah.
and then at some point, like I play a lot of phone games to literally kill time, but at some point, you always get to that stage where you're like, "What is even like? Why am I?
What
even
am I
doing
doing
this?"
with my life?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the moment that I had, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go do something else. Yeah. Anime. I mentioned I've been watching things for quite a long time. Sports as well. I used to watch sports more than I do now.
What's
Kind of depending
that?
on where I was. I know. Yeah, that might be a foreign concept to some, but and actually even playing sports, it was always dependent upon who was around. But I really got into like racquetball, tennis, basketball, those sports for a little while. Finance. I mean, I guess that kind of counts as a hobby. I like doing like stock trading and stuff. I mean, it's kind of a game. It's what I use to replace the car game.
Yeah,
It is a game.
It really is. I mean, you gotta be careful
It's
with it, of
rigged.
course. Yeah,
That's a risky game. That's a dangerous game.
it is.
despite me being a short white boy when I was young, I used to play basketball, football, and then soccer as well.
What are
Nice.
Right?
I used to ride horses and
That's
scuba dive a
cool.
lot.
Nice.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of crazy outside things. So, like to ride horses.
What's that?
I like a horse. Well,
No,
you
no,
might
the
know them
outside.
from. Oh, the outside. I was going to say horses you might know from the fact that I just picked one as one of my wild shape forums when we were going over character stats last night.
Oh yeah, I've ridden those in Diablo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, so you know what that is. The outside is where they live in real life.
I thought they were in barns and stables.
Either way, it sounds horrible.
Help me. Used to scuba dive a lot. I have up through my dive master. I am rescue and cave certified, and very recently I'm trying to get back into that. So we'll see how that goes. What else? I do a lot of little old lady hobbies because elder millennials skipped the midlife crisis because we're all poor and we jumped straight to old people hobbies. So I
Yes.
like to crochet. I like to knit. I like
Take
to
naps.
draw. I love to take
Wait,
naps. yes.
wait. Napping is not a
I
hobby.
garden.
Disagree.
Oh, it is if you do it right.
Yeah. Or if you're old.
Yeah,
Mm.
you have to be a connoisseur to do it right. But yes, I garden. Yeah, lately, I also used to draw a little bit, mostly in college. I like color pastels and charcoals and watercolors. And lately, I've gotten into painting minis. And currently, I'm painting a bunch of the minis from our previous campaign.
I Never got good at watercolors, but I loved colored pencils growing up. Or Sharpies. I used to actually draw Dragon Ball Z a lot with Sharpies because it looks so good as like anime like. And that was at least before, like, now they've got, I don't know, the sky's the limit with ways to make it look like an anime drawing, which is neat.
I mean, I could do a pretty mean stick figure.
You can. You won that one game of Jackbox that we played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
With your stick figure drawing. I'm not good at drawing people, but I'm pretty good at drawing animals and especially horses. My one weird niche thing I'm weirdly good at is drawing horses.
I'm better at like reference drawing, so I'm kind of like the human AI, you know, I see it and I'm like, oh, I can do that.
And we like board games. A lot of my friends are board game nerds, and at my house we host a lot of board game nights. Been really fun. I have one friend that has like a billion board games because he used to work at a board game place, and so he always brings over new stuff that we haven't played before, and it's always a good time.
Board games are one of those ones that you can get often surprised talking to someone and they suddenly will say that they play board games just because of how big it got. It's still popular now, obviously, but I mean, like, board games has blown up over the last, whatever it is, 10, 15 years. And I mean, I don't know how many times I've just been talking to random people who I don't share any nerd-ish hobbies with, and then all of a sudden they randomly will talk about board games that they play. So that one seems like it pops up across everybody.
I'm glad it's making a comeback because there's a lot of elements to them. You know, there's something for everybody, really. There's co-op, there's, you know, PvP, there's mystery, there's every genre, puzzle.
That's what I was going to say about it, is that nowadays it doesn't feel like that you're kind of limited to, like, say, Monopoly, Trouble, things like that. You've got Cards Against Humanity. You've got, there was this Universal Monsters one where you actually had to work together. And I actually haven't played many board games where you actually work together to defeat, like,
I love that
monsters.
One.
It was so much fun. And then you've got like the taco cat goat cheese pizza thing where you just, you know, put cards down and then you slap it eventually, or you make like a monkey sound. Like, so many different ways and board games and cards that you can do that it just, I think it's evolved with the times. And I think that's why it's become popular again, is because it's been evolving and there's, like you said, something for everybody. Cards Against Humanity is hilarious. Love it. There's Cyanide and Happiness is currently one of my favorite right now. Favorite.
We've played that at a couple conventions as well.
Yeah, and I would play that at a couple more at least.
Definitely. I really appreciate too that it's something that is bringing people physically back together to spend time hanging out, because once you have the game, especially in a game, like you said, the Universal Monsters game is a really good example. You can play it over and over and over again, and it's different every time. And it has different endings every time, and you don't win every time. It's very challenging, and like a lot of them are sort of customizable. I have a game that I would like to shout out called The Night Cage that is also a game where you have to work together, but we've only ever beat it like twice. And the expansion just came out. I am so excited. It's shipping really soon from Kickstarter, and you can play it hundreds more times and it'll be different every time. So they have like a lot of longevity now as well. It's not like you said, like Monopoly always kind of ends the same way every time. But it's nice to be able to
ruining a family.
Yeah.
Or friendships.
It's not like a friendship ruiner, but it's nice to be able to spend time like in each other's houses face to face sometimes and like play games, because that's another thing obviously about conventions that's a big deal, is like you go and you meet people and they don't live anywhere near you and you become internet friends and you start a podcast together and you live in 3 different states. But then when you go to the convention, you get to hang out in person. It's fun.
I mean, we can't be an RPG podcast without at least talking about Munchkins as well, because that,
yeah.
I have expansions of that. The thing I love about that game is you always start off friendly with everybody until they start winning and getting close to reaching level 10. And then you start being a lot more aggressive. And what was really fun about that game, I played it with my spouse and some other people, like her friends and stuff. And I almost did it twice, but I definitely did it once with my spouse, is I was going to help her defeat a monster, and she's looking at me like, but then I'll win. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And it's like, okay. And everyone thought I was being nice and sweet and stuff like that. And then we defeat the monster together. She levels up to 10, but I'm an elf, so I level up with her, and I level up to 10, and we win together. And I was like, aha. And then I almost did it again where we would have had a 3-way win to help them, but then the other person who was going to be like outed of the win was like, well, then no, I'm just going to delete the monster. I was like, no. So that's a fun game to both be against each other, but then also together, and just the kind of true randomness that game provides rather than Monopoly, where I feel like you could strategize a win, like, and do the same thing every time basically and come out on top.
Until you end up in jail over and over and over again and can't buy any properties.
Or someone else is equally as good as you, so you're playing it for 6 months.
Yep.
Bringing it a little bit full circle to D&D too, Munchkins is a game that I consider a soft gateway
Yes.
to understanding how D&D works, like the base mechanics, right? Because it's a very simplified version of, you have your race, your class, your stats, and like it teaches you how to add a modifier to a thing. And, you know, once you've played Munchkins a few times, the character sheet for D&D doesn't look so scary anymore, I think. And it's a nice way to sort of be like, if you liked this, but you want to add like storytelling to it, you might, and roleplay, then you might enjoy D&D. So I've gotten a few friends like through the Munchkin to D&D path. And of course, now you can also play Critical Role Munchkins, which is equally fun.
So many expansions for that.
I do have to say, one time I have the space version of Munchkins, and the ultimate weapon you can assemble is the like fee fi fo phaser banana fana fo phaser me my mo mazer laser. and it's like 1,000,000 cards, and it's each part of a laser, and every time you add another part, it adds more damage. And I, as far as I know, am the only person in my entire friend group that has ever managed to, in a single game, assemble the entire laser. It was amazing.
Love it.
Randy, you mentioned role-playing in Munchkin too, which that's kind of different. I never really would have thought about role-playing in a game, but that actually sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've role-played in Munchkin, but it's at least like, I think the roleplay is the element missing from D&D, like aside from the story that you mentioned, Ginger. But it would be kind of fun to more emphasize, say, like characters. Can't think of any games off of the top of my head, but it would be fun to, I think, add an element like role playing into Munchkins and being a character, and maybe even having like, say, like alignments or something that could almost like, oh, I could convince you because you're kind of paladin like, so you need to help me almost. And then you're like, oh, no, but you're going to win, but you're right.
I don't know if it's every expansion, but some Munchkins do have alignment as a card, because I think you can lose it or it can get switched.
Oh.
Some of my friends, have you ever played any of the Arkham horror? Like we play like Mansions of Madness and stuff. They always give you a character. Roleplay is not a part of the game, but when we play it, when we pick our characters, we do roleplay them. We give them like silly voices, and we give them like personalities, and we do actually tend to add some roleplay into our board games just for fun. But we're all D&D nerds, so we're all used to doing that.
Yeah, I usually do it just to be a weirdo.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. Has anybody ever been part of a LARP group? Speaking of roleplay, live action roleplay?
No.
Nope.
I thought it'd be like a ton of fun because I've been the kid at like the back of my house throwing a stick around like as a lightsaber or something like that. So, and the LARP seems like just the natural next step to that, but never really had a group around. Although I have had cosplay group meetups, and I think we managed to reach 30 to 40 people once to go to like a mall or something where we lived. And I mean, I was still kind of being the character and stuff, and that kind of be sort of LARP like, where we're not beating each other up and being this fantasy world and stuff, but we're still running around like characters and kind of being goofballs.
I've never been in one, but I have some friends that have been in them, and it always looked like such a good time.
Does.
I have one friend that was a photographer for a LARP group, so he basically would just go out and just take pictures of everything the whole weekend, every time they had an event. And yeah, it seemed really fun. From what I understand, there are similarly a wide variety of types of groups as far as like fantasy versus, historical accuracy and that kind of thing. I do have a friend that used to be an archer in a LARP group for a long time. And I know that she spent a lot of time training for archery for it. And it's a lot of work. I've never taken it all the way into a group, but I will admit to taking some lightsaber fighting lessons for several weeks once upon a time.
Nerd.
Sheesh.
I have 2 Ultra Sabers, okay? I just wanted to know how to use them.
It's true. You never know.
Also, Randy, did you make an Archer reference? I just got that.
Maybe. the listeners have to play it back to catch it.
I've seen like some LARPing and everything, and it looked definitely interesting. I mean, for me, role-playing in D&D is still new in and of itself for me. So I'm still getting used to that, although I've been kind of getting into it more and more each campaign we do, and different characters, and even a one-shot we did recently, and side chats and everything as well. And Randy and Ginger both you guys were talking about being in characters at cosplays and everything, so that has a huge role-playing aspect that sounds like I might be getting into here at some point, but I never did like a specific outside of D&D roleplay thing yet.
Well, if you go full Tabaxi or Leonin for your first cosplay, it'll be really easy because, you don't have to worry about what your face is doing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just, dust off your rogue voice and get out there.
Oh.
Is it going to be difficult, though, to keep him from stabbing people, Randy? Do
True,
you think?
true.
Do we need,
No.
There will be rules.
That's part of the cosplay. I have to do that.
No, we're gonna make like a cat harness, and so that we can go, hey, no, and then we'll spray you with like a water bottle.
It's only the last 2 characters that were cat-based.
It's still like a quarter of them, or like almost half of them.
Yeah, it is a decent percentage. I'm just working my way through all the... No.
What's your next character?
No, not releasing that information yet. That is confidential.
Come on, I want to know.
Is it a furry?
Nope. Maybe.
Okay.
We have guesses for each other for our next characters.
Ooh.
That we didn't tell Randy. We did guess. So I guessed, obviously, don't confirm. We'll find out soon enough. But
it's way more fun to know.
Yeah, I guess Tukey might be a furbolg because it is still kind of a furry thing, and they tend to be tall. And I know you like to be tall.
That's funny.
Character.
I do usually pick tall
That's
characters.
my official guess.
And mine for you was a halfling, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No particular reason.
You both are closer than I expected.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. We'll find out on Friday.
Yeah. And then
I'm excited.
We'll let the listeners know once, all that's revealed to you two, and then we can reveal to everybody.
Campaign 4.
Ooh.
Well, speaking of our next characters, should we go create one that many people would want to cosplay someday?
I still seriously need to get this checked out.
This is the Flash Round, where we take turns creating the bones of a character that anyone can use. If you play one, let us know who they become. Roll initiative.
3.
I got a 6.
I got a 3 as well, actually.
Oh, you guys got a roll off.
I want to roll off so hard.
Doing good today. Okay. I'm going to roll again. 14.
I got a 5.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait. Bonus 6. No, it's still not high enough.
You do not have bonuses.
Wow. Don't be mad you didn't level up yet.
Stop it.
You do more side quests.
All right, so we got me, followed by Ginger, followed by Randy.
Yep.
Ooh, that means I get to get this one kicked off. And I'm going to get it kicked off with the race that is a half orc.
Okay.
Fancy. What's the other half?
Merman.
Okay.
We're going to have a half orc, half merman.
Perfect.
Half orc, half merman bard. I like to think that the mermaid was his mother, and that's where he gets his singing chops from.
And he will be a bard of valor.
Ooh.
Thanks.
For their appearance, they're going to be, we'll just say like average height for an orc. But because they got, the merman in them, I guess, we'll say they got some like fish scales around their body, maybe like bluish, shiny fish scales. And because they're a bard, we'll just say they have some nice looking facial features, like nice flowing hair, strong tusks for an orc, half orc. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's hot. For their background, I think there's a bunch of good options for this, given the nautical nature of their ancestry. Entertainer would make sense, but I'm going to say far traveler. Maybe they sailed the seven seas, but not as a pirate.
Yar.
Well, they're a far traveler, so for their personality trait, they use flattery as their way of getting what they want.
It does get you what you want.
Sometimes.
Are they good at it?
I don't know. They're a bard. They're probably not bad at it. Yeah, I guess it depends on how they want to play it.
Well, for their ideal, I'm going to keep working off of this. I'm going to say their ideal is joy. I want to bring it to others. Because, they're doing the flattery for a good reason.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
For bonds, I think they're going to be one with nature because they have both orcish and oceanic origins. They feel connected to all terrains and they just like to roam as part of their far traveler background. They feel connected to nature, and a lot of their songs are probably a little bit more on the ballad side, like maybe a little folksy, maybe like a little country roads kind of vibe.
And for their flaw, they're always in a rush because they can't seem to find enough time to explore what the world and worlds has to offer.
There's just never enough time,
And I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Well, for their item, I'm sticking with happy. And I'm going to say they have a mirror that's got, like minor illusion or something casted on it to where whenever they point it at somebody, it makes them look nicer. So, flattery, making them all look nice and be happy. Spread the joy.
So it's just a mirror.
Yes. Uh-huh. Nothing's cast on it.
I like that.
You are all beautiful people.
Exactly.
Except you know who you are.
Ouch. That got dark.
It was me.
Oh. All right. For the name, it's going to be Olaf. Olaugh. Because there's a laugh in it.
I don't like this anymore.
Going dark.
You wanted them to be happy.
Yeah, going dark.
No, get back here.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this session and want to hear more, you can find us on Twitter at DysFictionalPod for our latest updates and downloads.
Original music for this podcast is provided by Joshua Silver, the artist known as Dimanon on Spotify.
Just because I'm a cleric does not mean that I want to see that rash.